What's up guys, I'm JacobTSuggs, and if you're wondering why you haven't seen me just yet and are probably a bit confused right now, it's because my friends and I were shooting a short film the other day and he kind of has my memory card. So unfortunately I cannot film myself, so I decided to maybe change up the format a bit and talk through my Blue Yeti microphone, so here we go. Last night I decided to watch Mute, as I'm a massive fan of Duncan Jones as a filmmaker, and I'm actually a pretty big fan of his other films, Moon and Source Code. Not so much Warcraft, but Mute kept piquing my interest, so I just kinda decided to check it out. I knew the film received some pretty negative press following release, but I'm a firm believer that every film deserves a fair chance, and so putting that negative buzz aside the best I could, I went into Netflix and started watching it, and was kind of let down. To put it lightly, I kind of hated this film, and there's one big glaring reason why, and I just knew that I wanted to talk about it today. The visuals are appealing, and the vibrant neon colors are beautiful, but under that stylish surface, you've got a pretty dull story that maybe if it were fleshed out more and wasn't so needlessly convoluted with subplots and pointless scenes, then you could have probably had something special or at least a decent science fiction film. Unfortunately, I feel like I have to get into my biggest issue with Mute to kind of explain where I'm coming from. Since the style is essentially a carbon copy of Blade Runner's style, it gives the film a lack of identity, which hurts the overall story, and more importantly, the emotion within it. Paying homage to something is something that all filmmakers do. I mean, we all are inspired by the films that inspired us, and we craft our own unique vision from what we're inspired by. However, when you essentially take all of the inspiration and leave no room for originality, then you kinda have a problem. And sure, there's other issues with Mute, most notably the pacing and the writing, but if you were to give the film a more unique identity, I feel like it would have at least been a stronger and quote-unquote better film overall. And sure, it wouldn't have been great, but maybe it would have been a unique science fiction film that was at least a little bit memorable than some other ones. But as it stands now, this is my biggest problem with Mute, and it's a real shame because this one giant problem essentially just detracts from a lot of unique things that the film had going for it. I think that the quote that I started this review with by Herman Melville basically just sums up the film perfectly, and it's really disappointing considering Duncan Jones' other filmography. Oh, and there's another thing that I want to talk about. This film exists in the same universe as Moon. I thought this was a joke going into the film. I didn't know if it was true or false, but sure enough, it does, and this is where kind of another problem stems. The fact that this also exists in the same universe as Moon feels kind of pointless and detracts from the world that that film set up, and it kinda ticks me off. Someone said last night that if you were to set Mute in the present and ignore all of the science fiction aspects, it would only change and affect about 5% of the plot, and they're absolutely right. Not everything has to be connected to a previous story. I get that it's a really cool and interesting concept, but sometimes in terms of execution, it just doesn't work out. Look, I love the Cloverfield series a lot, that's no surprise if you follow this channel, but I'm glad that not every single mysterious film is within that universe. Here's the big difference between Moon and Mute. Moon pays homage to science fiction films, most notably 2001: A Space Odyssey. You can clearly see Kubrick's influence in the way the space station looks, but at the end of the day, the story in Moon is pretty original and stands on its own, and the homage works. However, Mute is heavily influenced by Blade Runner, like I said before, and the homage is basically just a crux for the story to lean on, which ultimately detracts from some of the more unique and original aspects in the film, making this feel like a film that I've seen 1,000 times before and a watered down version of a film that I already love. There's a huge difference between paying homage and completely imitating something, and overall, Mute is a boring, unoriginal, convoluted mess that fails in several places where it could have excelled so easily, and it's a real shame. Now, I'm not trying to slam Duncan Jones. I admire him as a filmmaker and love what he does for the most part. I really loved 2 out of 4 of his films. This is just kind of constructive criticism, and if you like this film, that's awesome. I'm glad that you enjoyed Mute. I just found this to be a glaring issue with the film, and it kind of affected my personal enjoyment of the experience of watching it. That all being said, speaking of style and stuff, I hope that you enjoyed this video because this is completely new for me. I haven't done this before, so hopefully it works out, and hopefully I'll get my memory card back soon enough so I can get back to doing normal videos for you all. That all being said, if you liked this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and sharing is caring. I would really appreciate it if you did that. Help spread the word. And as always, I'm Frame by Frame. Remember the name. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Link to my Patreon is in the description down below, and thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.